African Leaders Initiative, created in 2014 to deepen the United States engagement with the youth of Africa. Now, the fellowship has achieved success well beyond expectations in the past 3 years and will once again engage up to 1,000 young leaders from all over the continent. There are only 2 weeks left to apply for the 2017 Mandela Washington Fellowship. Now, to tell us more about the fellowship program, we are now joined from our Durban studios by Public Affairs Officer of the U.S. Consulate in Durban, Mark Carr, and 2014 Mandela Washington Fellow Nozipho Zulu. A very good morning to the both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Renee.
Now, Mark, tell us more about this Mandela Fellowship.
Well, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, as you noted, is part of the Young African Leaders Initiative. And since President Barack Obama took office, he made it clear that he's looking to cultivate a new relationship between North and South, more of a partnership of equals. And realizing the importance of nurturing the next generation of young African leaders, he established the Young African Leaders Initiative, or YALI as we call it, which is really an umbrella program that has many opportunities for young people. Specifically, the Mandela Washington Fellowship is a 6-week program that takes young African leaders to top U.S. universities for 6 weeks of intensive coursework, focusing on developing leadership skills in one of 3 career tracks. And the 3 career tracks are public management, civic leadership, and business and entrepreneurship. And the type of people we're looking for are persons between the ages of 25 and 35 who have obviously excellent English skills, because you're going to be going to a U.S. university and studying coursework. But most importantly, people who already have demonstrated some leadership in their communities and in their chosen career, and who have found a way to tie that back into the overall development of their country.
Now, Nozipho, take us through some of your experiences as a Mandela Washington Fellowship member.
When I was selected for the Mandela Washington Fellowship, I was placed at the business and entrepreneurship track. So I attended at the University of Texas in Austin for 6 weeks. That was where I learned valuable lessons on business and entrepreneurship, on how I would launch my business and how I would become a successful young African entrepreneur. The most amazing experience for me, though, was drawn from having shared the coursework with a group of 24 young African leaders from different parts of Africa who were already running their enterprises and driving change and creating opportunities of employment in their communities, solving social problems through their enterprises. So that was very inspiring for me.
What would you say that you've gained from this program and from your experiences?
I've gained a lot. I've gained the experience. It was quite an eye-opening program that led me into doing a bit of introspection, and it gave me, I was so inspired by observing other young leaders who were already successful, running successful businesses. I was so inspired that when I returned to South Africa, I decided to launch my own enterprise, and I identified a group of individuals who were economically and socially disadvantaged. And when I launched my business, it's really to benefit those who are socially and economically disadvantaged. And also, it was amazing for me that being a Mandela Washington Fellowship alumni, there's a lot of support provided for me. I had a mentor appointed on my behalf, and she was very helpful while I was launching my enterprise, while I was training the group of individuals who were in need of self-employment opportunities. And I also currently have a professional coach who is assisting me to launch and market my enterprise.
Now, Mark, if I can just come back to you. when fellows return to their own countries, do you continue working with them in assisting them with their community projects and working in the environment that they've studied in?
Yes, we always tell our fellows and all of our exchange program participants that once they've completed the exchange and returned to South Africa, it's not the end, it's just the beginning of their partnership with the United States. And we have a number of opportunities for grants and further training for these young people once they return to South Africa.
Now, Nozipho. No, please, go ahead.
Just wanted to emphasize that the application is open until October 26th. And to apply online, you should go to the website, which is yali.state.gov. And you'll find full information about the program there. And we're speaking from KwaZulu-Natal, of course, the U.S. consulate here, but we're also recruiting for the program from our consulates in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria.
Well, it's wonderful opportunities that you are offering. Nozipho, if I can just get the last word from you. Well, there's 2 weeks left for people to apply for this great fellowship. What would your advice be to those who are considering applying?
I would like to encourage them to really believe in themselves because that's what I had to do. I just had to sit down and think about it, and I would encourage them to look at themselves as leaders and look at the work that they are currently doing, whether they are involved in business or in civic or in public management. They must just believe in themselves as leaders, spend enough time drafting your responses for the application. Don't rush, and just reach out. There is help if you visit the website where you'll be filling in your application. So there will be advice and tips on how to fill in the application. But believe in yourself. See yourself as a leader, and you will make it.
Well, thank you very much to the both of you for joining us here on Newsroom today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you have it. That was Public Affairs Officer of the U.S. Consulate in Durban, Mark Carr, and 2014 Mandela Washington Fellow Nozipho Zulu. 2 weeks left to apply. Now let's go back to the news of the day. Of course, you've heard there's been chaos at the universities. There's been many disruptions. Everybody is wanting to know what is happening with the Fees Must Fall movement. Now, of course, we'll get that story back to you shortly. Now, EFF leader Julius Malema has been summoned to appear in court. He faces 2 counts of contravening the Reuters Assemblies Act and the Trespass Act for calling on EFF members to occupy privately owned land.
The struggle for land reform and transfer of land is long overdue.
It was here 2 years ago that Julius Malema made his controversial comment that has now landed him in hot water. The case of incitement was opened by AfriForum.
It sent a strong message out that people can't make remarks that he made, and that there will be action will be taken against people that incite crime.
The second charge relates to similar utterances, this time while the party was campaigning in Newcastle in KwaZulu-Natal.
These whites found us here, and none of them came with a bag full